City. And I'm Jackie Grant, and I'm your host. And today we are talking all about hormones and fat loss. And we have Ghitta Basson. Yes, I got it right.
You said it right.
Who is a hypnotherapist, mental health consultant, and also business owner who owns the Hormone Harmonizer business. So welcome, Ghitta.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you.
Good. So, Ghitta, let's start off with finding a bit about you. So tell us how you got to be working in the field of balancing hormones.
Gosh, it started quite a few years ago. Well, first of all, I was trained as a therapist. I've been practicing for over 10 years, and I mainly see clients suffering from anxiety, fears and phobias, depression, all the, I'd say general stuff, but yeah, general stuff. And throughout that, obviously, I get a lot of women struggling with weight loss as well. And my very first client came to me for weight loss, and we tried all sorts, and nothing worked. And eventually she said to me, oh, by the way, I got tested by the doctor and I've got thyroid problems. I said, oh, well, that's a different story, which is why you're struggling to lose weight.
Yeah.
So I decided to delve into understanding the thyroid better and why people are gaining weight with the thyroid.
Yeah.
And then I started working through hypnosis and another why can't I think of the word now?
It always happens.
Another type of therapy called Mind MeDiation.
Okay.
And we started working purely on her thyroid and how that's linked to the weight gain and getting her to lose weight. I worked with her for about 6 months, and after the 6 months, she went back to the doctor, had her hormones tested, and he said to her, well, have you already gone on medication? Because I told you to wait. And she said, no, I haven't. The only thing I've done was some hypnotherapy. And he said, oh, this is bizarre because your levels came back normal. And
Brilliant.
You don't need to go on any medication anymore. And I thought, wow, I didn't realize I can do that. That's amazing.
That is.
So I started looking into it more and more, and I ended up having more clients with all sorts of problems, not just weight loss, but people coming to me for PMDD, which is sort of like PMS, just a lot worse, people with thyroid problems, menopause, all sorts. And every time I did something and I worked specifically on the hormones, magic happened. And I'm like, oh, I've got to do more. So I did a lot of case studies. And then eventually about 2 years ago, I decided, you know what, I just want to concentrate on hormones. So yeah, now and then I still see a client suffering from a fear or a phobia or relationship problems or whatever. I don't necessarily push them away, but it's easier for me to niche in one thing. And most women who have hormonal imbalances suffer from anxiety and depression and insomnia and all these things anyway. But I focus on the hormones itself, and by regulating those, all the other symptoms starts to drop off and disappear.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's how I got started.
Brilliant. I love that story. It's so amazing.
Yeah, I said, I shocked myself.
Cool. So let's touch a bit on menopause, because that can be a time when you actually, get the increased belly fat. And, a lot of women not feeling so great about that actually happening, and struggle to find, a way to actually reduce that belly fat. Tell us a bit about why that can happen.
So there's quite a few different hormones that sort of comes in place or plays a role when you hit menopause. First of all, your estrogen levels will decrease. And this encourages us to actually eat more and exercise less, unfortunately. So our hormones will influence the fat distribution in our body, our metabolism will slow down. We have an increased insulin resistance, and all of these combined will actually make us gain weight. They've actually done tests and said 30% of women between the ages of 50 and 59 aren't just overweight, they're actually obese. And that's pretty much because of all these hormones. Now, there are different hormones which affects fat and how we store fat. And this will be leptin, insulin, ghrelin, estrogen. the male hormone androgen, and our growth hormones.
Mm.
And all of these will affect our appetite, our metabolism, and how
That's right.
we distribute fat. So I don't know if you wanted me to go in a little bit deeper and explaining sort of how these affect you, or should I just
of course. Tell us.
Right. So first of all, I've mentioned leptin.
Yeah.
So leptin sort of regulates our appetite, our metabolism, and calorie burning. It will tell us when our brains are full, when to start burning the calories, when to create more energy for our body to use. And all of this is then linked with the hypothalamus, which is sort of the center part of your brain. And I'll explain that a bit more at the end.
Yeah.
And also our thyroid. Now, when we sleep at night, the leptin will increase. So we'll tell our brain, look, you've had enough energy. You don't need to feel hungry when you're sleeping. You can just don't need to burn calories or anything. Just sleep and relax. But we get sleep deprived. And especially as we get older, we sleep less often. And for all sorts of reasons, maybe we pop to the loo more regularly and all sorts. So we don't sleep as often as we used to. Now, when we get sleep deprived, we don't have as much leptin as we used to. So our brain thinks we don't have enough energy, and it tells us we are hungry. Also, the brain stores calories as fat so that the next time you'll have enough energy. So if you have a constant lack of sleep, a constant feeling of hunger, and your metabolism will completely slow down. Also, I guess when you're getting less sleep, you've got more time to eat, I guess. Then you've got ghrelin. So ghrelin is sort of the opposite of leptin. So it will tell your brain when you need to eat, when you need to stop burning the calories, and to store all your energy as fat. So again, when you sleep, your ghrelin will decrease, you have less energy than when you're awake. But again, if you sleep deprived, your ghrelin will go up. So your body will think, oh, I'm hungry. I need more calories. So we'll stop burning all those calories because it thinks there's a shortage. So that's the leptin and ghrelin, which is very much linked to your sleep. So it's so important to try and get better sleep. Then estrogen is, I guess, the main thing when we're going through menopause. And it sort of regulates the brain's energy and metabolism very much the same way as leptin does. Your estrogen will suppress your appetite, but if it's too low, then you want to eat more. So that's estrogen. Then we've got your stress hormones, and we don't always think about our stress and how it will influence our weight. That's sort of, we never think about the link really. And again, when we're sleep deprived, our stress hormones will be activated. That will cause a resistance to insulin, and both of these will cause weight gain. Now, if we have high insulin levels, it will produce more of the male stress hormone, which is androgens. And high androgens will cause all sorts of different things, like you'll get extra hair growth on your body in places you don't want it. On your head. You'll get acne, irregular periods. Menopause, a woman doesn't have to worry about irregular periods anymore. It also causes weight gain, and because androgens is a male hormone, the weight gain is typically around your belly. Which is it sucks when it happens. So that's sort of a whole breakdown of all the different hormones that can cause you weight gain, especially as you get older.
And so what are some of the things that people can do in terms of that, in terms of balancing out those hormones so that you don't actually get that belly fat?
Hormone rebalance can be quite tricky. There's obviously a lot of nutrition and food that people suggest. Even exercising can change your levels of hormones. The way I do it mainly is through the mind. I use Mind MeDiation and hypnotherapy. And if you think about it, so the hypothalamus is basically the part of your brain that's right in the center of your brain. That's the part of the brain that is responsible for pretty much all the functions in your body, all your hormones, your body temperature, your blood pressure, all of that goes through the hypothalamus. And when you go through something like hypnotherapy or mind mediation, which is a deep, relaxed state, it's been shown that it activates the hypothalamus specifically. So when I work, I only work with the unconscious mind. I don't work with a conscious mind. The conscious mind can go on a holiday and somewhere nice. I only work with the unconscious mind, which then triggers that hypothalamus. And that's when you can literally re-regulate your hormones and get it to a level that, yes, you're getting older and things naturally have to occur, but sometimes you can trick the mind as well. They've done a recent study, and I think they actually released it now as well, where women who are younger go in and they get a part of their ovary removed. And when they're supposed to hit menopause just before that, they get that part of the ovary planted back into them, thereby tricking the brain that it still has an ovary, and then it thinks it's releasing more estrogen. So there are ways. I mean, that's quite a hectic intrusion, I think.
Yes, exactly. Invasive.
And I feel, you can just do it through your mind. Just trick your mind and it's fine. So that's the way I do it. But otherwise, just a few tips for people out there. I guess eating less. I do know it sounds silly and it's sometimes hard, but they've done studies and said when you're in your 50s, you actually need to eat 200 calories a day less than you would do in your 30s or your 40s. And it can be tough because obviously we get hungry and we're used to our portions, but then rather try and eat a few times during the day and make sure you eat food that's actually less calorific, but it still gives you that energy and protein and whatever else you need. Moving more, I guess as we get older, we don't really want to exercise as much. But obviously, as we all know, physical activity will help us shed the weight. And which we don't always think about is gaining muscle. If you have more muscle, you'll start to burn calories quicker, and that will help you lose the weight. And I guess the key to exercise, especially when you're older, is to do it more often and more intensely. So doing things like an aerobic class or actually going running, not just something quite relaxed and we do a little bit and I'm done. You do need to do it a bit more intensely. Stress, again, like I mentioned before, we sort of forget that stress plays a big role in our life and on our hormones and on our fat gain. So try and de-stress, whether it's spending time outside of nature, meditate, doing hypnosis sessions when you go to bed. I give all my clients hypnotherapy sessions and they just fall asleep with it and wake up the next day feeling better. Also, if you do things like hypnotherapy or listening to, I don't know, raindrops falling outside or whatever, it helps you to sleep so much deeper and longer, which again aids that leptin to increase when you're sleeping. And I guess just talking to friends, get support from friends and family, even in groups such as yours, Jacqueline. There's millions of people going through exactly the same thing. So understanding that you're not alone and you've got that support, and maybe encourage each other to exercise more or share recipes that are really good for you and healthy. And I think the last thing would be finding alternatives. Even if you swap your normal chocolate for dark chocolate, it will help you tackle those cravings, but won't add all that calories to your diet. So that's sort of a few solutions, I guess, that I can provide.
Definitely a whole load of things that you've actually said, connect with me. I suppose in terms of eating less, I'd probably add to that and kind of say things like, rather than eating 6 meals, or snacking, it's reducing the snacking, because that actually increases in terms of your insulin levels can go up and down. So it's best to keep that at a balance rather than snacking all day. And kind of like in terms of moving, I would say, yes, let's do on the hit end, maybe leave out the steady state stuff. And then doing a bit of the chill out Pilates.
I think the balance, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So,
And
you know, just
eating, because for some people, eating regular but small amounts would work better, and other people eating a lot less but also smaller portions. So everyone's different, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's different, you know, and it's just about how the body's affected by
finding
those things.
your thing that works for you.
Exactly.
So trial and error. We're all going to have to try something, and oh no, I'm picking up weight. Let's stop that idea. We'll try this idea.
Exactly. And it's funny because I just, you know, had a couple of ladies here for a consultation, and we were talking about, you know, we were going through, because they were talking about how they were going through their, you know, hot flushes and different things that was going on for them, and, you know, how each one of them tried totally different solutions,
right,
and which helped them in different ways. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or not, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the thing. So so how much do you think that sugar actually affects
sugar?
You know, when it comes to hormone imbalance, like overall, because and not just menopause, because obviously, you know, we've got PCOS, fibroids, we've got you know, all the other hormone imbalances. How do you think sugar affects?
So I guess the reason why sugar is so toxic to our bodies is mainly because of the way it affects the leptin, which I discussed earlier, and our insulin. So again, the leptin sort of tells the brain when to stop eating. And the leptin regulates your metabolism and the rate of the fat breakdown in our bodies. Now, as our leptin increases, our metabolism will decrease, and vice versa. So if you sort of think about it as I guess a thermostat in your house. So the thermostat will read the temperature, and if it's too cold, it will turn the heat on, and if it's too hot, it will turn the heat off. So that's sort of how leptin works. Now, sugar actually causes a leptin resistance. So that you might have enough leptin in your body, but your brain isn't responding to it because your insulin is blocking the leptin. So your insulin sort of tells your brain the brain to store all the energy in your body, which is your weight gain. So your insulin will move, let's say, the sugar into fat, and then your fat cells will turn that sugar into into fat and fatty acids. And then once it's turned into fat cells, it will actually make leptin. But this is the point where leptin is then blocked from being produced, which means there's no signal going to the brain telling you that you need to stop eating. And that's because of the sugar intake. And if you think about sugar, it's everywhere in our food, literally everywhere. In restaurants, there's so much sugar hidden everywhere. And many years ago, we didn't have as much sugar in our food, where now we do. So the sugar literally affects your insulin and your leptin because it blocks that signal going to the brain saying you've had enough. That's why I can eat 2-3 slabs of chocolate. I just love chocolate, but it's so bad.
And I'm sure a few people can connect with that one. So that's so great, Ghitta, you know, that you've, you know, really gone into the scientific part of how our bodies respond to sugar and how it can really impact on us, you know, actually being able to stop those kind of cravings, you know, once we start on the chocolate, basically.
So I guess the more sugar or chocolate you eat, the more you want it, because like I said, there's no filter saying I've had enough. So your body craves it more because the insulin's saying, oh, I need more energy.
Exactly. That's amazing. So Ghitta, you've told us about one client actually that you've had a great result with, haven't you?
I got loads, though. I get passionate about it because it's
Okay, all right.
Story.
Okay. Tell us another story about another client you've had great results with that in terms of fat loss would be good, because you talked about thyroid, didn't you?
Yeah. Okay, so I worked with this lady. She was I think she was 46. This was 3 years ago now. The other lady was 8 years ago. So this was roughly 3 years ago. She was sort of perimenopausal, and she was gaining weight by the day and absolutely hated it. And no matter what she tried, she just wasn't losing the weight. So again, she came to me for weight loss, and we started focusing on the weight loss. And obviously, because I now work with hormones, I went straight in and I sped up her metabolism through the hypothalamus. I got her to start tracking her sleep so that she can sleep better and longer. I've given her hypnotherapy recordings so she can listen to that at night, which helped her sleep deeper and longer. And we worked on increasing her motivation to exercise. So first of all, we just focus on that, I think, for the first session or two. And then she said to me, oh, but actually I have severe period pains all the time. I've been going to the doctors, going to hospital. They keep telling me there's nothing they can do. I've worked with women with this before, and it's mainly called dysmenorrhea. So amenorrhea is when you have a lack of period, and dysmenorrhea is when it's all over the place and it's really, really bad pain. So I was quite familiar with that when she mentioned that. And sometimes she actually ends up in hospital on hectic painkillers because the pain is so bad. And she was also anemic, which means she had an iron deficiency in her body. So that caused a lot of issues as well. So I said to her, look, I don't want to just focus on the weight. Let's incorporate them all, because it's all related to hormones in the end. So in the end, I did a total of 4 sessions with her, each time working on the weight, but I also started including the pain elimination, increasing her iron levels, and overall just sort of rebalancing her hormones. By the end of the 4th session, she went to the doctor and for a checkup and had some tests done as well. But by then, she's already gone through 2 months of no more painful periods. And her periods went down from 7 days at a time to just 3 days. So massively shortened and lighter and no pain. She also didn't immediately recognize it. She went into the office. She's Brazilian, so she's a little bit darker skinned, and everyone was always commenting on how she looked so pale and grey, needs a holiday. And I walked into the office and I said to her, oh, have you been on holiday? Because you look like sun glowing. You look amazing. And she's like, no, I'm yet to go on my holiday. I haven't. And then she realized, she looked at herself in the mirror and realized, oh, I'm not so pale anymore. I feel fantastic. And when she had the test done at the doctor, they said, oh, well, you're no longer anemic and your iron levels are normal.
Brilliant.
She also lost 7 kilos by then. I think 7 kilos is about 15 pounds, if I'm correct. I'm not sure. I work in kilograms. And that's been more than she's lost in a long, long time, which is why she really came to see me. And she said to me she sent me an email and said, it's the weirdest thing. She woke up on the Sunday morning at 7 o'clock and had a sudden urge to go jogging. And she never got in her life before. But she got up, she had this urge, she got on her gym kit and she went for a jog. And even her husband was thinking, what the hell is that? And she said from that day, every morning, even on weekends, she will wake up at 7 o'clock and go for a jog. She only started working.
Oh, brilliant.
So she started jogging, and she said the other weird thing she's noticed is she's craving vegetables. And normally she has vegetables and carbs and noodles and whatever, but all of a sudden she was craving veggies and getting off all the tons of carbs and adding more veggies in her diet. So everything, she just had a massive shift.
Brilliant.
So it was quite amazing to see how she's changed, how she's moved. Coming in at the start, she was quite depressed and really not loving herself. And then as she started changing, she was like back to her old self again. So it was quite awesome to see.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that, Ghitta. So Ghitta, we're coming to the end of the show. So tell us some final words that you'd like to say to our audience today.
Oh gosh, I don't know. It's so hard. Final words. I don't know if people have questions, what they want to know about, or anything. And it's hard. I haven't even read any of the comments on the side. I haven't seen anything. So
it's fine.
Yeah. I guess just I've been working with all these different hormones. It's absolutely fascinating. I have a lot of people, especially if I go on the menopausal groups, they think, and I think it comes from doctors and the media and everything else, they think menopause is a medical issue and that's why it needs to be medically treated.
Yeah.
I totally disagree. I've seen proof there are amazing things that can happen. We have the power within ourselves to not go through this. There's a lot of women that go through menopause and they don't have severe symptoms. That's got a lot more. And it's very much for me in the mind. Not all of it, I get that. There are symptoms that is just, it's a hormone imbalance and you can fix it. But there's also a lot of symptoms that's normally not there, but it's created based on where you are on your mental state of mind. And people will tell me, what? It's not in my mind. I am going to do this. And I get that.
Yeah.
You can fix it through the mind. You can, even if you don't completely eliminate every symptom, you can reduce the level of the symptoms drastically. And it's quite amazing to see how these things happen. So I don't think it's a medical issue, and I don't think doctors understand it very well. I'm not saying I'm the alpha and omega and I know every little thing about it, but I know the mind and how it works with hormones and what I can do to help people. And I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with Wim Hof. It's a guy who literally spent, I can't remember how long now, X amount of minutes in icy cold water. And normally X amount of time later, the average person will just, shrivel up and die kind of thing. But he spent longer than normal in that icy cold water. And when he walked out, his skin wasn't blue or anything. He wasn't feeling cold. He was actually warm to the touch and red. And he's like, I do this with my mind. I can create my own body temperature in icy cold water with my mind. Now, if you can do that, there's so many other things you can do. I've seen it. You can regulate your hormones. You can have balance and control. You just sometimes need someone to show you how.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So I currently work with clients all around the world. As long as I have a video, I can see you, I can hear you, I can work with you. So I have clients in USA, in Africa, in India, in England, all sorts. So yeah, it doesn't have to be so drastic, and you don't have to wait for doctors and solutions and asking all these things. There are other natural ways, pretty much.
Definitely. I definitely go for that. There are definitely so many more natural ways.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ghitta, for being on tonight. So
thank you.
That's all right. Can you tell people where they can find you, your website, your Facebook? Yeah.
So my website is a little bit under construction at the moment.
Okay.
The new one will be launched soon, but it's www.rewindyourmind.co.uk. I'm mainly working from Facebook at the moment, pretty much, because I guess so many women are on Facebook asking and for advice. So that seems to be the go-to thing for me. And it's just Ghitta Basson Rym for Rewind Your Mind. I don't know. You probably have my name spelled out somewhere. People can see the spelling. But they can just literally go on Facebook, follow me on Facebook, add me as a friend. There's tons of testimonials. I answer questions all the time when if someone, wants to message me or something. So they're welcome to. But yeah, have a look there. So rewindyourmind.co.uk or my Facebook.
Brilliant. So thank you. So Ghitta, have you got any freebies for our audience? Anything that you would like to talk about?
That? I completely forgot about that now.
That's okay.
Say again.
That's okay. That's
No,
okay.
no, no. I will definitely have something, probably a hypnotherapy recording, which I can provide. I just now need to go through my list and see what I've got. And if I haven't got anything specific, I'm more than happy to create something. So is that something you can post in your group, or how would they receive it?
Right. Okay. So if you just tell me where it will be, if it's a link or something, then I can put the link, because this show will be, on my podcast, plus it will be on my YouTube. Okay.
Brilliant. I will send you the link as soon as possible. I'm really sorry I forgot about that.
That's okay.
The link, and then at least I'll have a recording, and it will be something that you can listen to, when you're going to bed at night. You can have it on repeat or just listen it once off. It doesn't matter. And it's something you can listen to as often as you like. And will probably help you sleep better and deeper, like I mentioned before.
Brilliant.
Cool.
So thanks again, Ghitta.
It's a pleasure.
It's been amazing having you on, and really interesting hearing about hypnotherapy and how that balances hormones. It's been really, really interesting. So, I know where to come when I feel in my hot flushes and get you to rewire my mind.
Yep. Totally. So, yeah. So, I actually, if we have time, there was just a quick thing I wanted to mention.
Okay.
There's so a client of mine messaged me and said she's got sudden hot flashes and she thinks she's going into menopause because she's 49. She hasn't got it diagnosed, but she absolutely hates it. So it's hot flashes and night sweats that she's never had before. And when I do the mind mediation, I take it symptom by symptom. And the mind knows exactly what's happening in your body, and your mind the unconscious mind will not lie to you, because the unconscious is there to help protect you all the way through and help you thrive. So I took the first option and I said to her, look, unconscious mind, do you know the reason for the night sweats? And she, the unconscious mind gave me the yes signal, because I set it up beforehand. And I said, okay, is there a medical reason for having this night sweats? Now, menopause isn't a medical reason in this case, because menopause, we all just go through it and you can't reduce it. But there are other reasons why it could be a medical reason, which means it prompts a visit to the doctor. So I didn't want to go straight ahead and remove her night sweats. I said to her, look, I'm going to end the session here. There's no point in trying to reduce or remove it. You need to see a doctor. So she was actually quite upset, and she's like, I just want it gone. I don't want my night anymore. I hate it, blah, blah, blah. But okay, fine, I'll go to the doctor. She phoned me 3 days later and said, Ghitta, I think you saved my life. I said, why? She said, well, I'm in hospital and I've got angina, which is a heart condition. And one of the first signs is night sweats. And she would never have probably, or maybe even later, have gone to the doctor to check it out. I didn't prompt her, because immediately the mind told me it's a medical condition. And I won't remove medical conditions until you've spoken to a doctor and the doctor can confirm yay or no, and then we can work on it or not. So it was quite interesting to see the mind just knew what to do.
Amazing.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there.
It's good. It's brilliant. You throw that in, girl.
All right. But thank you very much for having me. It's been great fun.
No, it's been good. It's been amazing, and it's been really insightful. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you again.
All right. You take care. Bye. So everyone, end of the show.